let's take a look at some functions and evaluate what their graphs really look like and what we can tell from that. And we're going to be looking at two specific types of things, whether something's increasing or decreasing, that's the first thing, and whether something is positive or negative. And it's going to be really relatively intuitive. So here we go. Before we go any further though, I do want to just kind of count. And I'm saying this because it's going to be necessary to understand the intervals that we're dealing with. So 1, 2, I'm not insulting your intelligence, trust me here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if we went forever, as we go in this direction, this is going to tend towards infinity. So it's going to go to infinity. This one, and feel free to say something from Buzz Lightyear there when I'm like, it's going to infinity. Anyway, as we go backwards, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7. As we go back this way, we're going to go towards negative infinity, and yes, negative infinity is a thing, so we will talk about that. Also on this graph, keep in mind that it goes forever down on both sides, and actually, as I say it goes forever down, it's actually, notice the way it's kind of tilting. It's going down, but it's also going to the left, and this side is going down, but it's going to the right. So as we talk about this, we're going to be thinking of where it's going, and it's actually going, in this case, to the left. It's going down, but it's going to the left. That sounded confusing, so let's just get started and we'll deal with it. So here goes. I want to see where this function on this picture is increasing. So if I was to trace this with my pencil or pen, where would the function be going up? And so we're just going to do that. So like if this was a roller coaster, you'd go up, then you'd go down. And so we actually sort of just answered the first two parts of it. So where is it increasing? It's increasing here, all the way until we get to this x value right there, which is the x value of 1, right? Okay, so from here to here, it's increasing. Well, where is here? Okay, now we get to the crazy mess, because if I'm going to just look at this piece, then I'm going all the way to the left. Now, I'm going down, but I'm also going to the left. Notice it's going down and to the left. So it goes from negative infinity. It's kind of like talking about domain. It goes from negative infinity to 1. So on what intervals is the function increasing? Well, that would be negative infinity to 1. Now, I will warn you, there are some online math things, delta math is one of them, that I've seen a glitch in where if you were to type this as an answer, it wouldn't take it. And I personally think it should. I like delta math, but anyway, that's just my one beef with them. Some individuals would probably write it like this, and don't feel the need to do this, but I'm going to write it also as all the x values less than 1. And I think that's legit as well, and delta math actually would take that. I'm just throwing that out there. We'll talk about that more as we go. So we ride up to the top of the roller coaster, and then we go down. So that's where it's decreasing, and that goes from 1, and it goes forward. Now, it's going down, but as it goes forward, we're going on the x-axis towards infinity. So it goes from 1 to infinity. You could also say that these are all the x values that are greater than 1. Now, let me get technical here for a moment. Our answers are correct. This is one way to write them. Here's another way. And certain online applications take some things and not others, and that might be a slight glitch in the system. I think both of these are valid, but some take one, some don't, like I just said. If you want to play it safe, you can go with these. I'm going to start using these a little more, though. Okay, also, in case you care, AP Calculus exam, for what that matters, they actually take less than or equal to, or just less than. They take both. That's irrelevant. Let's move on. Positive. Where is my function positive? Okay, so when I'm talking about something being positive, then it better be, well, positive. Duh. So I look at the graph and I want to know where it is positive, and it is positive when it is above the x-axis. So really, please don't think too hard. I want to know where this thing goes like that. Now, it's going up and down, but this question isn't asking about increasing and decreasing. It's asking, where is it positive? Well, that's from here to here, and that would be -2 to this number, which would be 4. So from -2 to 4. I personally believe parentheses work. Again, sometimes they don't work online on different things, but whatever. If you want to write it a different way, you could go -2 to 4. Delta Math does take that. It does not take that currently, unless they change things. Where is it negative? Well, if I want it to be negative, then I'm just going to talk about where it's below the x-axis. So that would be from here, this piece, and also this piece. So let's list them both. So we have this piece, which, let's kind of go from left to right here. It goes all the way and stops at 2. So from negative infinity, see, negative infinity to negative 2. And then there's another piece. We'll leave a little gap. We'll talk about that gap in a minute. And it's going to go from 4, and it's going to go forward. I know it's going down, but as we look at the x values, we're going from 4 onward. It's going down, but it's going forward. There we go. Now there's a mathematical symbol we'll throw in here, and it's actually the union symbol. It's OR, if you want to get technical about it. So there's the first one. We could also say that this one, I'm going to kind of do it the same way. We could say it's all the x values less than negative 2 or all the x values greater than 4. Either one of those is valid. All right, I've spent enough time talking about the way some websites take some things and not others. I'm going to continue with this. You can translate that into this if you like. On what intervals is the function pictured increasing? Okay, we're riding a roller coaster. We want it to go up right now. So there's an arrow. It goes forever in this direction, and this is negative infinity as we go towards this way, and positive infinity as we go towards this way. And let's just ride this roller coaster. So here goes. Up, down, up. There you go. So I want to know where it's increasing. That took place here. Okay, so let's start talking about where here is. This is a negative 1. And we know we're going to have to do this too, so we may as well. This is at 3, by the way. So we're going to go all the way up to here. This is the section where it's increasing, and it's starting way yonder back here. Now, I know it's down here, but if we were to go this direction, we'd be going down and to the left, okay? So negative infinity all the way to negative 1, increasing from negative infinity to negative 1, along with, well, not that, that's going down, and so now it's going from 3 forward. So 3 forward and up, but it's forward. It is decreasing here. Decreasing from 1 to 3. Okay, well, that was easy. 1 to 3. Okay, well, I'll put that in interval notation. That is not a coordinate. This is not the coordinate 1, 3. All right. And if you want to write it like this, you could. You could say it's between 1 and 3. That's also legit. Use less than in that situation. Where is it positive? Well, I'm going to just find out. There it is right there. It's positive where it's above the surface of the x-axis. It kind of looks like Loch Ness Monster or something, like where you have this big hump and then this neck sticking out. Not that I've ever seen Nessie, just saying. This is negative 3. That was random. All right. And this is 1, and that's 5. Okay, so let's find where it's positive. It's positive between these two values, so between negative 3 and 1. And it's also positive from 5 and onward. So 5 to infinity, and we'll put the union symbol in between. It means or. Usually we say the word and in math when we mean or, meaning if I was to pick a point that is positive, I could pick it from this, or I could pick it from this. That's kind of what the word or means in this situation. It's just a mathematical symbol that's a lot of fun to use. Okay, the negative ones. Well, that would be this piece and this piece. So, well, this piece is, let's go from left to right, negative infinity to negative 3, negative infinity to negative 3, and then from here to here, it would be from 1 to 5. So union 1 to 5. There we go. All right, I'm going to flip this paper over, and we'll do a couple more. Now, as we start this one, notice that it actually ends at negative 5 here and ends at positive 5. We don't have it going on forever to where we could imply that there's an arrow that points forever in that direction. So we're not going to have any infinities in this one. We're going to have a lot of different stuff going on though. We want it to be decreasing, so we're going to go down. That starts here and goes down. So it goes from negative 5 to that value, which would be negative 3. Okay, let me stop right here and say something before I keep going and do the other ones. You might look at this and say, well, that is a filled-in circle, so why don't we use a bracket? You're thinking of domain, and you're not wrong. Again, there are some websites or on the AP test that will accept a bracket here. If you want my personal opinion, like personal opinion, and it really doesn't matter. If you want my personal opinion, at this specific point, it is neither increasing nor decreasing. And I think for that reason, we use a parenthesis. There you go. You could use either, but I'm going to just keep moving. All right, so it's decreasing, increasing. Well, you know, why don't we just go ahead and write that answer too? So decreasing, increasing. So that goes from -3 to -1. Okay. And now we're decreasing again. So that goes from -1 to +1. -1 to +1. And then we're going to increase again. So from 1 all the way to 3. 1 to 3. And then we're going to decrease again from 3 to 5. Okay. This says f of x less than 0. Whoa, 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 whoa. They didn't write it like they wrote it the last time. That's okay. We'll deal with it. So I want to know everywhere that f of x is less than 0, what I'm really asking is, where is the function negative? If it's less than 0, it's negative, right? And if it's greater than 0, it's positive. So it's just a different way of saying, is it positive or is it negative? Okay, so don't look at the math symbols and be like, whoa, I'm confused. No, you got it. Less than 0 is negative, greater than 0 is positive. So less than 0, here goes. It is negative here, here, and here. So let's list them. So it's negative everywhere from -4 to -2. -4 to -2. And technically at -4 and at -2, the value of the function is 0. So it's not negative there. Some people put brackets, whatever. From 0 to 2, it's negative. Now I'm going to get really technical here, and don't panic if this is a little wacky, but I'm going to go, for this third section, I'm going to go from 4 to 5. From 4 to 5, but it actually does include the 5 because 5 is indeed negative. We're not talking about whether or not it's increasing or decreasing at a specific point. That's kind of a calculus issue if you're confused about why I didn't put a bracket here and why I didn't put a bracket here. And that's not a big deal. And that's not a big deal either. I'm kind of talking about the differences between them. The bigger idea is, can you identify that this thing is negative? And yes, it is. And I personally believe this point is indeed negative, which is why I put a bracket. Okay? If you leave the bracket off and you put a parenthesis, no mathematician is going to beat you up. Not that mathematicians generally have the ability to beat anyone up anyway. They normally don't. Okay, we want to know where it's positive. They do hire mathematical thugs, though. Positive is positive from -5 to 4. I'm going to put a bracket on the -5 because it is indeed above the x-axis. And it is positive from -2 to 0. I feel like I've spent a little too much time being confusing, talking about the difference in brackets and parentheses. Feel free to just always use parentheses. From 2 to 4, except on delta math. There we go. All right, we're going to use the same graph as above, but we're going to state all the intervals where f of x is positive and it's increasing. Okay, whoa, all right. Here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for sections that are above the x-axis and are going up. And then we're going to do that for each individual piece. And this part kind of goes fast. So what I recommend you do is, if you're copying this, or if you're just watching, that's fine. Just look at each individual piece and start asking yourself questions like, what's happening here? Okay, let's just cover up the bottom part, and we're going to say this is positive, right? I mean, it's positive. And this piece right here is positive. And then this piece right here is positive, and this piece right here is positive, and this piece right here is positive, and it's kind of obvious because they're all above the x-axis. So again, there's this snake in the water, and he's like poking up, and there's his head right there. Well, here's the rest of the snake. And this piece is negative, 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 and this piece is negative. Well, that was fun. We still haven't answered the question, but we're getting there. So now let's start talking about whether things are increasing or decreasing, and we'll do that pretty quickly. It won't take long. So on this entire section, the snake is going down. Like if you were riding a roller coaster, it'd be going down. So this is decreasing. I'm going to write that in a different color. So this is decreasing, and this is decreasing. I'm down here, so now we're going to go up. So this is increasing. This is increasing. As I'm writing, I'm going to talk about random stuff. The purpose of this lesson is to get you to the point where you're looking at a graph and saying, oh, that's positive, that's negative, that's increasing, that's decreasing. And the reason we're doing it, it may look ridiculous and pointless, but it actually is very practical. Because in the real world, you need to be able to interpret graphs. So when you're looking at some graph sometime, and it looks like this, and you're going, zzz, and they're like, hey, our economy is doing great. Well, was it doing great here? It was kind of going down. And then what's it, you need to be able to identify those trends. And that's why we're doing this. It's the interpretation of data. I'll go ahead and tell you, a lot of people try to advertise to people that don't know how to interpret data. Reading a graph is a very important life skill. Okay, enough small talk. Let's keep moving. I want to know where it's positive and increasing. Actually, I could write the intervals, but I'm not. I've actually identified everything I want to identify here, so I've got what I need, and I'm not even going to really fill anything in here. If you want to, you can. Like you could say, well, it is positive and increasing, like here, from -2 to -1. And you could list them all. I'm not. I will come back to it, and I'll do it at the very end. So if you're super patient and you want to see the answers, you can. But let's go down here and let's do this one as well. So just very quickly, let's just talk positive, negative. So this piece, positive or negative? Now you might say, well, it's going up. Yep, great. But if I'm asking positive or negative, I'm asking about this. So negative, 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 negative. Positive, 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 and, well, you guessed it, positive. Now let's talk about increasing and decreasing. So going up, increasing, still going up, increasing, positive but decreasing, which means it probably won't be positive very long, negative and decreasing, it turns around, it is now increasing, it is still increasing, it turns over, and now it's decreasing and decreasing. Okay, so I'm pretty much done. I am going to list my answers up here, so if you're really patient and want to stick around and see them, you can. Otherwise, that's it. That's the big idea. Positive, negative, increasing, decreasing.